We're back in Cyberpunk 2077 taking a look at the Update 2.0 patch notes. The big overhaul right in front of the huge expansion for the game. Be sure to like the video, subscribing is great as well. So this is an overhaul to the mechanics and gameplay functionality. You get the brand new exciting police system and a revamped perk tree setup. So these changes are available to the base game and available for all players from PC to current gen consoles at no charge, and it'll get you excited and ready for the Phantom Liberty expansion. So even if you don't grab that expansion, you can still enjoy these new features. So you will have to basically redo your skill tree, and also they do recommend removing any sort of mods until the modding community has had time to update them, because disruptions may be present due to the really extensive changes that are present, but that is more for a PC side of things. There's also a push for the PC system requirements to have a SSD in order to make sure the game is running well and correctly. So there you go. Let's move on to go over what has changed. Combat. New police system. The NCPD will chase you when you commit a crime, whether on foot or in a vehicle. The types of units in pursuit and their behavior will depend on your NCPD wanted level. These chases can include various NCPD vehicles, roadblocks, and max tax swooping in with AVs. The NCPD will now be present in the world, actively patrolling the streets of Night City. Officers working at crime scenes will now also engage in pursuits. You can hear NCPD radio chatter through the radio. It's now possible to quick hack the officers that are present. Vehicle combat. Added the option to engage in combat while driving a vehicle from either first-person or third-person perspectives. While driving, you can use pistols, submachine guns, and health items. Some vehicles come equipped with mounted weapons. Melee combat is also possible when on motorcycles with things such as a sword, which is kind of interesting. Vehicle tires can now be shot or slashed. Introduce new perks that unlock a variety of vehicle-related abilities such as quick hacking vehicles, increasing collision damage, boosting vehicle weaponry, allowing the use of Sandavestan and Kirkanazov Cyberware, and the ability to exit moving vehicles quickly and stylishly. Vehicles vary in durability. Vehicles equipped with Crystal Dome technology receive additional protection. You can now encounter AI-driven and randomized chases between differing factions in a given district. Combat AI enhancements. Numerous improvements to enemy AI, including the following. Various enhancements to enemy runner AI, improved NPC reactions to grenades and their use of grenades, improved NPC reaction time when flanked, faster detection by enemies when you're walking or sprinting. Enemies equipped with this Sandavestan Cyberware will now activate it to counter a player who uses their own. Enemies that don't hear a silenced weapon but do notice the bullet impact will now properly investigate the source of the gunshot. Made improvements for scenarios where a group of NPCs can join another group in combat against you. It's a multi-battle. Netrunning changes. Added perks to expand netrunning capabilities. For example, a new overclock mode allows you to upload quick hacks by consuming health if you have insufficient RAM. You can also acquire the ability to queue multiple quick hacks on a single enemy. Rebalanced RAM costs. Rebalanced damage and upload time. Change the effects of some quick hacks. Remove the option to use the breach protocol on enemies. Other. Health items and grenades now have a limited number of charges that recharge over time after being used. Stamina is no longer drained outside of combat for actions like sprinting, sliding, and jumping. Stamina is drained when firing ranged weapons or attacking with melee weapons. Stamina cost varies by weapon. Improve the aim assist feature. Rebalance the base game's main boss fights. Interesting. Introduced armor penetration for the base game's main bosses. Remove the one-hit kill protection from civilians. Perks and skills. A complete perk tree overhaul. These trees now contain fewer perks, but impact gameplay in a more meaningful way. Progressing in a given perk tree will allow you to unlock special abilities such as overclock mode for netrunners, bolt shots for tech weapons, the adrenaline rush ability for body-focused character builds, and so on. Because they've introduced extensive changes to the perk system, your spent perk points on existing playthroughs have been completely refunded. You can also choose to reset your attributes once. Feel free to redistribute these perks and attribute points to suit your preferred playstyle before you continue playing. They did merge the previous skills into 5 new ones: Headhunter, Netrunner, Shinobi, Solo, Engineer. These are not restricted by their corresponding attributes levels. On existing playthroughs, your progression on old skills has been transferred to their new counterparts. Skills unlock new passive buffs every 5 levels and can be leveled up to a max of 60. Remove the option to reset all perks at once. Instead, it is now possible to refund each perk individually for free. Introduce new kinds of progression shards: attribute shards, carrying capacity shards, and cyberware capacity shards. Cyberware. Armor is now provided primarily by cyberware. As a result, clothing's purpose is mostly cosmetic. Clothing items no longer have mod slots, and only some items provide bonuses. The number of cyberware implants your body can handle is now determined by your cyberware capacity. Cyberware implants are now attuned to specific attributes. The higher the attribute, the stronger the stat bonus. You can now upgrade cyberware on the Ripper Dock screen. Some cyberware slots can be unlocked by acquiring specific perks. Added multiple new kinds of cyberware. Visiting Ripper Docks is now more immersive. When getting cyberware installed, you sit on an operating chair and experience different animations depending on the type of implant. Added a side quest introducing the new cyberware system for players who load an older save on the 2.0 update. Weapons. Change the unique effects of some iconic weapons to better reflect their distinctive features. The first equip animation can now be triggered at any point. On PC, hold B or double tap Alt while the weapon is holstered. PlayStation, double tap triangle while the weapon is holstered. Or Xbox, double tap Y while the weapon is holstered. They've added smoke grenades, added new melee weapon finishers. You can now find a thermal katana in the game, added new weapon mods and reworked some existing ones. Once installed in a weapon, mods are irreplaceable. All obsolete weapon mods will be removed from the game. In their place, you will find new, random weapon mods in your backpack. The quality of any mods added this way depends on your level. Remove the silencer slot from revolvers. Remove the scope slot from light machine guns. Implemented a new way to craft weapon mods. To craft a mod, you must first have 2 mods of lower quality. Expanded the stash wall in V's apartment to display all of the iconic weapons from the base game. Vehicles. Traffic NPC vehicles can now switch lanes to avoid obstacles. Pedestrians will now try to avoid running into moving vehicles. NPC drivers are now better at avoiding you when they are on foot. Or when you are on foot. There we go, that makes more sense. Improved braking, acceleration, and suspension of cars and traffic. Some NPCs now might react aggressively when you hijack their vehicle. Various improvements to traffic density depending on time of day and night, resulting in more realistic traffic behavior. Driving with a quest-related NPC in your vehicle no longer disables traffic in the occupied lane, resulting in the feeling of a busier city. Other fixes will no longer text you about vehicles for sale. You now purchase vehicles via the AutoFixer net page on V's computer or by using terminals located in gas stations and repair shops throughout Night City. To find these, enable the AutoFixer filter on the world map. Vehicles are sorted by manufacturer. The vehicles equipped with built-in weaponry have photos marked with a special icon. As you earn more street cred, you will unlock more vehicles for purchase. Added new user settings to help configure vehicle camera and controls. You can also now choose between 3 different third-person camera distances when driving a vehicle. Added a new driving category and driving manual to the database. They've implemented various changes and tweaks to vehicle performance and handling. New speed-sensitive steering applies to most vehicles. The max turn speed and radius adapts to different vehicle speeds better than before. All engines now have torque curves, which reflect the engine's character and any power modifiers, e.g. supercharger, turbo, hybrid, etc. Some adjustments in balancing have been made to vehicle acceleration and top speeds. Conducted a full pass on adjustments to braking force. For slower vehicles, it has been dramatically increased, and all stopping distances were measured and adjusted as necessary. All vehicles react better to rough terrain and impacts with curbs, meridians. Vehicles now feel heavier, as they have improved how they apply gravity to the suspension movements. Many vehicles were fully retuned or their tuning was heavily revised. Multiple other small improvements. Balance and economy. NPCs. All NPCs now scale to your level. Enemy difficulty is no longer dependent on what area of Night City you're in. Enemies will have differing tiers depending on the faction they belong to. Some NPC archetypes will feature low, medium, or high armor. All resistances for regular NPCs have been removed. Rebalance game difficulty to increase the challenge at higher difficulty levels. Weapons. Weapons now scale damage based on their tier. The damage for smart weapons has been lowered, but they are now benefiting from dedicated perks. Loot. Loot now scales tier level. Removed excessive findable loot in the game, such as loot that distracts from scenes and quest locations. NPCs no longer drop clothing. Crafting and upgrading. Crafting and upgrading now require only one type of component instead of multiple types. Replace old rarity levels, common, uncommon, rare, epic, legendary, with tiers from 1 to 5++. Apart from Cyberware, now only iconic weapons can be upgraded. They gain a higher tier with each upgrade. Vendors. You can now access the wardrobe feature through clothing vendors. Vendor stocks scale with your level, expanding as you reach a new tier. Updated vendor stocks so that each has more distinctive themes and specializations. Vendors no longer sell quick hack and crafting components. Adjusted the prices of weapons, cyberware, apartments, clothing, and more. Audio. New radio stations. 89.7 Growl FM features songs created by the community. The DJ Ash is voiced by Sasha Grey. Impulse 99.9 features a completely new set of songs remixed by Idris Elba. 107.5 Dark Star is a new station for electronic music. Just a side note, there was literally a Netflix original with Idris Elba where he's like a DJ. He's actually really into DJing. So that's just a side note. I thought that was kind of neat. UI. The quest journal now has a new cleaner look. Jobs are located in separate tabs depending on type. The distance to each quest marker is now displayed in the journal. Added the option to untrack a quest in the journal. Thank you. Overhauled the phone UI to be more intuitive. Revamped perk and cyberware menus. Simplified item tooltips. The most important stats are now represented by bars to make comparison easier. The minimap will now zoom out dynamically depending on your speed. Updated the minimap to better serve the situation around you. Vision codes will not be visible unless a given NPC reacts to your actions or engages in combat. Improved D-pad navigation and menus. You can now change the HUD safe zone. This option is available in Settings, Interface. Multiple UI fixes for widescreen. Widescreens. You can now preview clothing and weapon not only in vendors, but also in your inventory. The indicators that show the status of active cyberware are now displayed on your HUD. Quest fixes. Beat on the Brat the Glen fixed an issue where it wasn't possible to draw fists when the fight started. Blistering Love fixed an issue where the parked car despawned after talking to Rogue in front of the afterlife. Cyber Psycho sighting, Bloody Ritual, fixed an issue where Zarya's body could get stuck underground after feeding her. Forward to Death, the forces defending the gate of the construction site now properly attack V. Gig, serious side effects, fixed an issue where it wasn't possible to deposit the beta acid at the drop point. I Fought the Law, fixed an issue where it was possible to get stuck in the Red Queen's race after completing the mission. Queen of the Highway, fixed an issue where it wasn't possible to complete the Talk to Pan Am objective on older saves. Spellbound, it's now possible to steal the data from R3NO's computer if you don't have a cyber deck. We Gotta Live Together, fixed an issue where an invisible wall made it impossible to return to the camp on the Basilisk. Stability and performance. Multiple fixes, improvements related to stability and optimization. Miscellaneous. Added Trauma Drama, an arcade minigame that offers a chance to win special rewards. Added more secrets to be discovered in Night City. Ooh. Added some small scenes to the game, including some conversations with Johnny Silverhand when visiting V's apartment in Mega Building H10. You can now change tattoos at Ripper Docks. You can now choose between 3 control schemes for controllers: classic, dynamic, and alternative. Apartments will now give smaller buffs. Updated the characters tab in the database to include more side characters. Added new niches to the Columbarium. Added Ukrainian text localization. PC specific. Updated PC system requirements. A SSD is now required to run the game. Added support for NVIDIA DLSS 3.5, which introduces DLSS ray tracing, or ray reconstruction, a feature that improves the quality of ray traced effects. A GeForce RTX graphics card is required. The option is available in the settings, graphics, in the NVIDIA DLSS section. DLSS 3.5 is only available if path tracing is turned on. To make sure DLSS ray tracing reconstruction works correctly on your PC, update your NVIDIA Game Ready driver to version 537.42 at the minimum. AMD SMT introduced the new AMD simultaneously multi-threading SMT switch located in the settings, gameplay performance. It allows you to set SMT to off, only physical cores, or on, all logical cores, where auto-ensuring the performance averaged across different locations and situations in the game is optimal. This change was implemented in cooperation with AMD and is based on tests conducted on both sides. The crowd density setting has been moved from Gameplay tab to the Graphics tab. Additionally, crowd density is now tied to the Graphics Quick presets and will change depending on the selected preset, but it can be customized independently if needed. As PC requirements have been updated, running the game on SSD is now a requirement if you're doing the Steam Deck. Updated Steam Deck graphics profile for improved frame rate stability. Console specific, change the target upscaling resolution on Xbox Series X and PS5 in performance mode from dynamic 4K to dynamic 1800p for improved performance and image quality. There you go. Those are the patch notes available for Cyberpunk 2.0, a revolutionary update and change within the game. Again, liking the video is great, subscribing is great as well, and lots of more exciting Cyberpunk content is coming to the channel, including reviews and updated looks at the experience alongside the DLC expansion review soon, which should be a lot of fun.